Before we get started with the process, a couple points of note. Starting July 1st, 2023, it will be standard practice to send DNA samples directly to Neogen for testing, rather than to the ASA office for pre-processing. Along with that, a registration number, or recorded U number, is also required to test any animal. If you have an animal in your birth queue which is being held up from registering due to a DNA error, simply uncheck the register box, revalidate, and commit to registry to receive the recorded U number. It's important to note that the number portion will stay the same once the animal is fully registered. If it is a purebred, the U will simply drop off. If it is a Shorthorn Plus, the U will turn into AR. If samples are sent to the office rather than directly to the lab, additional fees will be incurred for processing. The same applies for samples sent for animals which are not registered or recorded. If you are in need of blood or hair cards, you can request them on shorthorn.org by going to Member Services, Registration DNA, and then DNA Card Request Form. In order for this process to be streamlined, please make sure that you have a current email address on file with the association. The email address that is listed as the primary is where the DNA form will be sent. All of this said, let's get started with our online submission process. Feel free to pause this video at any point as needed. There are two ways to queue up your animals for testing, and I'll cover both in this video. To see all active animals in your herd, click View underneath My Account on the left-hand menu. Herd should be highlighted in the middle of your screen. Click All underneath it. Notice the column headers above all the animal information. You're looking for the DNA column. There are boxes for each animal in this DNA column. When you click this box, it will say Queued. You can queue up as many animals for testing at one time as you'd like. Once you are done selecting your animals for testing, you'll navigate over to the left-hand menu and click Herd Management, followed by DNA. Once this page loads, you'll see all your animals that you'd selected to test. I had mentioned before that there are two ways to queue up your animals for testing, so I'll show you the second way now. You do have the option to start queuing your animals from here, but it's also helpful if you realize that you forgot to queue up one of your animals in the first place via the first method. You'll click the Choose from My Animals button, and a list of all of your animals, active, unregistered, and even previously owned, will pop up. Simply click the box to the left of the animal to put it into the DNA testing queue. I tend to gravitate toward queuing the animals up the first way so that you can click as many at one time as you'd like, whereas this method requires you to select one at a time. The first column you'll see is titled Reason. This is not a required field. However, you'll notice it is a drop-down list. If you are planning to test your animal as an AI sire or donor dam, you can choose that from this list, and the tests required to fulfill AI sire donor dam qualifications are automatically filled in. You can add other tests on to these too, such as myostatin or horn pull if you wish. The next column is Type. Here, you'll select the sample type that you are planning to send. It is recommended to have the sampling card in hand when starting this process. Next, you'll enter the barcode number from that sample card or Allflex tag, also called a TSU or tissue sample. Looking to the right, you'll notice that animals information should all be automatically filled in. There is an optional column to add a second sire to test to if you're trying to narrow it down between two. From here, you need to check the boxes which correlate to the tests you're wanting to run. Once you have all these pieces in place, you'll click Submit to Staff. Please note that this is not an entirely automated process. When you submit to staff, we must take a look at your submission and get it uploaded into Neogen's database. Once that is complete on our end, you will get an email from DigitalBeef, which contains the form for you to print off and send directly to Neogen with your samples. This is also when your DigitalBeef account will be billed for the testing. You can pay for the testing with a credit card through the registry, you can call in a card, or send a check. Please note that you do not send payment directly to the lab. If you do happen to send them a check, it will be disposed of. When results are in, you will get an emailed PDF of those, as well as see them reflected in the registry. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our office.